think it's done. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Greetings and salutations, everybody. I appreciate you guys joining me live tonight from our YouTube. And I have a beautiful guest, Aisha Keller. And tonight we're going to talk about the similarities between relationship with humans and how it kind of combines with or kind of have a lot of similarities, like I said, with relationships with food. So, Aisha, I've known, well, I've met you, I'll say, I don't even know, 2020, 21?
Maybe 21. Yeah, I think maybe 21 or 22, somewhere around there. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe 21.
somewhere around there. Yeah, we'll just say that. So, so yeah, so we worked together, we taught together at the same institution, and unfortunately, we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with each other, but reconnected back with you as I've seen you going live a lot on, I think specifically TikTok. I don't know if you have multiple platforms, but we'll allow everybody to get to know where to find you and everything. But I became like re-intrigued with you as far as you kind of sharing your the relationship that you are going through and some of the ups and downs and the challenges that you have in your relationship. So
Hmm.
I don't know exactly how open you are. You seem to be pretty open. My followers know that I've been super open with them about my health. I share my thyroid journey, and they probably know all of my charts and all that kind of stuff. So they know everything. So there's nothing off limits, just to let you know. So it's going to be up to you and your comfortability. So
Okay.
um, go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself, and then let the people know a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Aisha Keller. I am a mother of three boys. I am divorced, which is what Dr. Denise is referring to, I think. And so that's the relationship that I've been sharing about a little bit. And I am a social work professor, so that's how Dr. Denise and I met. And I'm still doing that just at a different institution now. I'm a health and wellness coach, I'm a dance fitness instructor, I'm an author, and I think that's it. So, yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
She said, I think that's it. Man, I'm not exhausted just thinking about it. Because you started out with three boys, first of all. And how old
Yeah,
are
that
they?
would be enough. We can stop there.
Exactly. Oh, man, that's crazy. Wait, for some reason you just went blank. I don't know if you're still there and you can hear me. Oh, no, I hope we didn't lose her. Hello, McKay. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Well, guys, I don't know what happened. We've got quite a few people here online with us. Hopefully she can join back with us, but I'm joining with Aisha Keller. There she goes. There we
Calling
go.
Aisha. Calling Aisha. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No problem. No problem. Okay, so we've got some people coming in. I don't know if you can see the comments and how many people are in here
Hi, Emma.
at
Hi,
all.
David.
Okay, so give us an introduction one more time, just for the new people coming in.
For sure. So, Aisha Keller, I am a mom of three. I am divorced. I am a social work professor. That's how I met Dr. Denise. I am a health and wellness coach. I'm a certified life coach, a dance fitness instructor, and an author.
Wow. All right. Kudos to you for doing your thing. I just the last video I just saw maybe 30 minutes ago, you were talking about imagine if you were going hard and kind of respect your time. So
Mm-hmm.
where do you feel like you didn't go hard? Because you've got a long resume. Seriously.
Like, when do you not hard? You know what? I'm. It's interesting that you said because someone else commented on that video, and she was like, "I think that maybe you were raising your children," and so, but I think when you have goals, when you have, we're in a hustle hard culture, right? And so you can really be made to feel like if you're not doing all the things all the time in all the ways that you are somehow behind. And so what I was talking about was just there are ways that I wanted to grow my business, goals that I had for my business, things that I wanted to do that I haven't done yet, right? And when I say my business, I mean the health and wellness coaching that I mentioned. And so I just haven't done those things yet. I haven't had the time or the like mental capacity to be able to focus on that. And so, if I had, perhaps it would be, larger and grander, but it is what it is right now. And, all things in God's time, I think. But yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so where are you? And hello to everybody that's coming in. Where are you as far as your life coaching, your business? Are you looking to go full throttle, or where are you?
I don't know if I'm looking to go full throttle, as in it's my main source of income. I like having sort of multiple things that I do, so that all my eggs are not in one basket. Right now, I typically focus on working with groups. So I focus on women. I lost around 80 pounds a few years ago and have kept most of it off. And so that is where a large part of my business has developed from, helping women to sort of get to the bottom of why they have gained weight and kept it on and have to keep fighting with it all the time. And so that's been the main focus, and using sort of a faith based approach to that, and also a three-pronged approach, which is kind of some of the things that you talk about: your mind, your body, and your soul, as opposed to just and your spirit, as opposed to just focusing on your body. And so yeah, maybe not full throttle, but fuller throttle.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Well, first of all, I had no idea about your weight loss journey. Like, I didn't know.
Oh,
Like, how long? No, how long ago did this happen, or how long ago did you start focusing on it?
I would say in 2018, the beginning of the year, everybody does their resolutions. And I just kind of prayed, like my life was just not right in a lot of different ways. And so I prayed about, God, what do I need to do? Like, how do I get started and just revamping my whole life? And the three things that I felt like I heard God say was to stop eating dairy, stop eating sugar, and pray every morning for 90 days. And so I did that. And sugar is a thing, dairy was a thing. And so I started doing that, and then weight started falling off. And then that just kind of snowballed into this journey of like learning more about food, learning more how it affected my body, learning that the reason why I had not been able to keep off the weight my whole life, because this wasn't, how some women are like, oh, I had a baby and I gained weight, or I had surgery, or I was on medication and then I gained some pounds and I just can't get it off. No, ma'am. I had been overweight since I was 8. Okay, so this was not like a fling or a whim, or I just had a moment. No, it was a lifelong thing for me. And I discovered with, through prayer and study and all of that, was I was not attacking every area of my life. I wasn't addressing my spirit, my mind, and my body. I would like do the diets and the things, but I wasn't changing how I thought. I wasn't changing how I prayed, how much I involved God in it. I wasn't changing how I felt about myself. I wasn't changing how I felt about food. And so the weight would come back.
Wow. I
Hmm.
have so many questions now. It's like, wait a minute. Okay. So, man, I don't know where to begin. Okay. So, all of a sudden, well, I ain't gonna say all of a sudden, because you've
Hmm.
been, I'm sure, mentally going back and forth with this since you were, a teenager or,
Hmm.
preteen even. So, is there something that you found to actually help you get stick, or was it just definitely you praying the right way and you getting the answers that you needed to be consistent and go in that direction that made you be more successful? Like, tell us more,
Yeah.
please.
So I think it's a couple of things. It's all three of those things. So, but the spiritual part, I started to pray like, God, um, convict me when I am not on the right path, right? So help me do this. So I invited God in, right? I invited the Holy Spirit in, and then I said, show me what to do and convict me when I'm not doing it, basically. And the difference between that and before was I was not asking God to help me at all because I thought I could do it on my own. That was the first lie. And then the second thing was, even when I didn't realize I couldn't do it on my own, I was like, I don't really want to involve God. You know what I mean? Like, I want to, because I know from being, a Christian most of my life, that when you involve God in things, He's coming. Like, He's gonna take over, He's gonna clean it up. And if you don't
Uh-huh.
really want it clean, which sometimes we want change,
Hmm.
but we don't really want to change, right? And so
Exactly.
once I finally got to a point where I was like, okay, okay, you're invited, come on in. Then it was like all the things. And so the one of the first things that helped it stick was I would get convicted when I wasn't eating properly. I would not feel peace. I would not sleep as well, like all kinds of things. And then the second thing was the mind shift change because I was an emotional eater, which ties to the topic of the main topic of relationships and food. I was an emotional eater, and so once I changed that. And that's like a daily thing. I cannot lie to you and say, "Oh, I never, reach for chocolate. I never, eat unhealthy things." I cannot lie to you and say that. But there has been so much growth in that from where I was, that it's much different. And so when I stopped being an emotional eater and stopped like, okay, what's actually wrong with you? Like, if you're
Mm,
actually angry, like, deal with being angry. Like, stop trying
mhm,
to stuff it down with food. If you are actually lonely, call somebody. You know what I mean? Like, the ice cream in the fridge is not going to make you less lonely, right? And so, and there's no judgment because I get it, right? That's what I was doing though for years and years and years, and so yeah, it was those two main things I think.
You're just giving away all my secrets in my program. No, I'm just kidding. But that is so good. You hit so many points as far as, one, a lot of times where we, gravitate towards food because we're lonely.
Hmm.
And you realizing through really, I was gonna say on your own, but no, through your higher power. And he told you, he was like, that ice cream is just not going to comfort you in the way
Yeah,
that you need to truly be comforted. Obviously, when we reach toward food, it's like a temporary satisfaction, but it's reactive towards something that we're trying to cover up and soothe instead of dealing with the pain.
yeah,
And that's so huge, especially these days because we've got all these kind of different technical modalities that people are going through, and you guys already know I'm not shaming any of you guys because if that's what you do and that's what you've already done, okay. However, you probably know by now that it's temporary. We
yeah,
still have to do things to maintain or keep going, whether it's, still working out your relationship with food or the gym or whatever that it is, because those things they market to us that, hey, just get lap band or have this kind of surgery, whatever. But if you still don't treat your body properly, it's not going to stay exactly the same way it is.
right, yeah,
So that's the unfortunate thing, and that's just the truth that I try to bring to people. So that's awesome that you started figuring out like, okay, instead of going toward this food, let me just go for a walk or let me work out or, something
hmm,
else that does not involve food. So that's
yeah.
great. Are you the type of person that once you decide that you're gonna cut out sugar, are you able to go cold turkey or is it kind of a back and forth thing?
So for those 90 days, I did go cold turkey. I felt
Okay.
like that was what I was instructed to do, and I was at such a low point that I didn't really feel like I had the option of like, oh, let me negotiate this in a different way. Like I just did it for the 90 days. It
Mm,
sucked for me. I'm not gonna lie and be like it was so fun. It wasn't, and um, so I did it for the 90 days, and then after the 90 days were over, I think I had like a Kit Kat or something, and it tasted gross. And because once kind of, you know, then it doesn't taste good anymore. But psychologically, I was like, oh, but I really like chocolate. So I kind of eased my way back into it. And then I started to feel convicted, like, oh, I don't feel peace about this. So then I eventually worked my way to only having sweets on the weekends. And that's pretty much where I stayed.
mhm.
I will tell you that giving up sugar is something I go back and forth about because I am well aware of, there's nothing like really good about it. And the way that it's processed is almost like an illegal drug, but that's another topic. And so, but right now I typically just have sugar on the weekends.
Okay. All right. Well, no. So it is the most legal drug out there. Like many studies have been done. It's literally more addictive than cocaine. So
Yes.
so I don't want anybody, you included, to not feel bad that you have this pull back and forth because again, it's
Hmm.
literally addictive, and that's why they put it in everything, even in things that are not sweet. And they do it on purpose so we can keep coming back. And they know just the right amount to put in there
Mhm.
to not, especially if it's something that they don't intend to be sweet. They know
Right.
just the amount to put in there to make it addictive, but still, again. So, all right. So let's get into these emotions part. So you've
Mhm.
mentioned, a low moment a few times. So feel free to let us in on how deep you want us to go. But what are some of the things you were going through, or some of the things that you were feeling? Whatever you want to tell us.
Yeah, so in 2018, I was still married. I had just had my second son a couple years before. And so I think I had some postpartum stuff going on. My marriage was not healthy, right? Which is, why I'm no longer married. And so it was a lot of that going. And plus, I wasn't happy with the way that I looked. I wasn't healthy. I didn't feel good, right? And so all of that combined got me to this point where it was like, okay, this is not working. So I'm gonna have to like do some drastic things. Because I think at first when things are not working for you, you kind of are like, oh, I'll just go get a massage or I'll get my nails done or I'll just go on a date with my significant other or I just need to, do more self-care. Like you kind of start like band-aiding at first, like, okay, I just need to and then you're like, oh, this is it's still a problem, right? And so then you kind of have to start overhauling, right? And so that's kind of how I got to that point. And then eventually, as the years went on, and I started to really see food as more of fuel as opposed to, another band aid or some kind of comfort. Um, it got better, and I started to really like see the pounds come off and like feel different and look different and all that.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, all right. This is I'm like a somewhat of an Oprah moment for a second. Just not even Oprah. Probably somebody that's a little bit more, I don't know, nosier than that. So give us give us a mental idea of like how your relationship was before you guys got married, like in the dating scene. Like how were you physically and mentally while you guys were dating?
Um, that's a good question. I think physically, I mean, I certainly gained weight when I was married, but I was, 190 pounds before I got married, and I'm only 5'4". So I was overweight already. Like I said, it was a pretty lifelong issue. Well, I'm 5'4" and a half. And so it was
You being that short? You're not 5'4". You
that's what people always say. I have been to the doctor. I am 5'4" and a half. Perhaps I carry myself with
right?
the reality of someone taller, but I really am only like 5'4" and a half at best, 5'5". But
Okay.
yeah, it might be 5'5". But yeah, um, so anyway, yeah, I was already a plus size girl at that point, and then I had a couple children. I now have three that I had in that marriage, and so having children does put on pounds if you're not taking care of yourself, right? And so and as far as mentally before marriage, I think that I just took into the marriage bad food habits that I had from childhood, which was eating for comfort, eating when bored, eating when, eating was my emotional regulation. And so, which, obviously it didn't work, but I didn't know that, you know what I mean? And so, my father and grandfather loved me with food, right? And so they weren't huggers. They weren't, I love yous. They were, do you want this honey bun? Look, I bought you a Kit Kat. You know what I mean? And so, and I remember being about 4 and telling my grandfather, hey, I'm full. And him being like, no, good girls finish their food. Do you know what I mean? Like you're a good girl. And I'm like, right, I am. So, and then be wanting to please him. You know what I mean? And like thinking that that is the proper thing to do. And so, and that's not, he wasn't being malicious.
Yeah.
we're not rich. Finish your food. You know what I mean? Like that made sense then. And so, so yeah, I don't think I necessarily, yes, the marriage wasn't healthy, but it did not um add anything. Those things were already there, right? So when the problem showed up in the marriage, the eating obviously increased because that's the way that I dealt with problems.
Got you. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Do you think you had any kind of self-esteem issues at all, or were you always pretty confident?
A complicated question, Dr. Denise. I feel like the because I feel like I was raised to be very confident. I really was.
Hmm.
But when there's the bubble of your home, right? And the love that you receive in your home. Both my parents were in the home. I was very loved and sheltered even. I grew up in Chicago. But when I got out into the world, I went to college. Uh Eat people for squirrels. So when I went out to college and I experienced like a lot of different things, a lot of rejection when trying to date and different things, and those things had a hit my self esteem, took my self esteem some blows when I went to college and in my early 20s, and that's when my self esteem started to um, dip. And then when I had issues in my marriage, then it started to dip even more. And so for sure, it definitely I didn't start out that way, right? But that's how it ended up. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Excuse me. I was eating some peas and not peas, but I'm talking like Caribbeans because that's who I've been around all day today. Peas and rice is what they say.
Oh, okay.
Quinoa and lentils is my thing. That like I can eat
Oh,
that
okay.
every single day.
That
So
sounds fun.
yeah, I'm trying to like I'm scarfing down before we go live, and so it's like all right here, and I'm like but okay. So, um, so you were already at a heavier weight while you guys were dating and before you got married. When
Hmm.
you started to change and started to lose weight, do you think did you notice any kind of changes in him feeling inferior of you doing that, or was he all about it or cheering you on?
Both.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
So one of them has to be fake because you can't feel genuinely,
Maybe
cheering
I
somebody
can't answer that
on.
for him, but I definitely got both reactions. And I don't know about inferior, but I didn't. It wasn't always like, oh yeah, great for you. Sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't.
Wow. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
what was his health like, or what was it then first?
Um, let's see. Before we got married, he was pretty fit, and then he gained weight when we got married. Hmm.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Have you discussed publicly like some of the issues that you guys are, some of the main issues you had in your marriage? Have you talked about
Yeah.
that? Okay, I gotcha. All right. Okay, so what is life looking like forward? Like, how are you feeling about, from this point on? And, with love again, or are you just kind of like, I'm good, I'm just raising my boys and enjoying what I'm doing with the life coaching? How is it? How,
That's another both answer. I feel I feel like, I mean, I've only been divorced, separated for 2 years, divorced for one. And so it's not like it's been, 17 years or something like that. So I think I am both open to remarriage and also focused on, I have three children. They're 12, 9, and 5. And so they're little guys. They think they're grown, but but they aren't quite yet. And so yeah, they're delightful, but they're a handful. There's three of them, and they're boys, and they're my boys. I have a couple friends who have boys who sit quietly and read and just take in the world. My boys are not doing that. They are rambunctious and they have a lot of energy. Yes, they like to read. They're very intelligent. They have all kinds of questions. I have to be on my toes at all times. They want to know about God. They want to know about sex. They want to know about people. They want to know about Donald Trump. I mean, they have.
wow.
So I'm busy over here. So while I am open to that, it's not like a focus.
Wow. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Honestly, I can't imagine. When I was 10, 11, 12 years old, you couldn't have told me that I wasn't going to be married by 22 and having three kids and da 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 da. And
Yeah.
here I am. I'll be 50 this year. I've never been married. I've been proposed to a couple of times, but it was a
Yeah.
hard no.
No,
on,
no,
a hard no. All they were doing, both of them, they were just trying to keep me because I caught them cheating. And so I was like, yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, so you think
Mhm.
a ring is gonna no, bruh. Like,
Mm, that is definitely a hard no. If I ever heard a hard no. Yes. Can I just say, sis, you are not out here looking 50. So we need to all be watching your channel and figuring out what you are eating and not eating, so that we can join this, because we already are starting from a good place because we are black and we've got the melanin, so we already starting off good. But you look amazing and
well,
all
thank
glowing and
you
stuff. So praise God.
so much. I appreciate it. Well, it's funny because I actually think I look younger today than I did 10 years ago. And I
Yeah.
definitely feel younger today than I did 20 years ago. And I
Mhm.
say 20 because I think I was 29. Yeah, so literally 20 years ago. I remember getting off the couch and my knees were like, what? What are you doing? And I was like, damn it, it's just my time. But, because
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
everybody in my family has arthritis. And I
Mhm.
was like, well, it's my time to have arthritis.
Right.
So, kind of similar to you, what you were saying, I think maybe close to a year later, something was telling me to stop eating or stop drinking milk because my acne got really bad as well. Like I didn't have acne as a teen. I got adult acne at 30. And I was like, what is happening? My knees, my joints, just acne is just here. I could smack you from wherever you are with my face. Like it was just so bad. So I was like, okay. So I ditched the dairy for about 2 weeks and saw major improvements. Of course, the acne was still there, but no new ones were coming in. And
Mhm.
the ones that was there were starting to go down a little bit. And I was like, huh.
Mhm.
And then I checked in with the rest of my body and I was like, I think I feel a little bit better. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. I don't know. But I
Right.
kind of kept going with it. And then, of course, it kept pulling me back, just back and forth. And you know how we are with cheese in our culture. It's like, we got to have our cheese, cheese, cheese. Like, I would run around the house growing up with blocks of cheese in my hand. Like, I just loved
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Because my
Mm,
mom doing
yeah.
it too. So yeah. So it's, the whole relationship with humans, relationship with food. It could either be toxic or it can be loving. There's
Yep.
maybe I don't what words would you describe if there's any kind of relationship with humans and food in the middle? Like what are some I mean,
Well, I'll
is
tell you what I thought of when I was texting you. We were texting right before this, and I was like, "Yeah, what are we talking about again?" And you said it, and I was like, "Geez, I don't know." And then I thought about it, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh," because I think I've dealt with codependency in relationships, right? Where and if someone doesn't know what that is, I'm not a psychologist like Dr. Denise, but it's this idea of like you're so connected to the person and that you're using them to regulate you and to understand how you feel. If they're sad, you're sad. If they're mad, you're mad. You're not functioning well without them, all of that. And I feel like that mirrored my relationship as far as emotional eating, right? It was like I need food I would go, for example, I would go out. I used to salsa dance a lot. And so in the college town that I lived into my 20s, I would go out salsa dancing. I was still a plus size girl. So I would not get asked to dance a lot, right? I would have to go ask guys to dance or, only if they knew me, that kind of thing. And so I would come back home feeling some kind of way, right? I would feel rejected. I would feel unattractive. And I would be like, I still don't like you. I thought I was going to be married at 22. I didn't get married till 32 or 33 or something like that. And so I'm like, I'm not married. Nobody wants to dance with me. I don't have a man. This sucks. Okay, I'll go get some ice cream. And so then I would go to the grocery store, get this big tub of like Rocky Road Loose Tracks ice cream, or I would go get tacos from the taco stand that was still open. And that would
right.
be my right? That was my man, right? And so I think when we talk about like codependency in relationships or just unhealthy using people, even idolizing people, because I feel like codependency is a lot like that, right? And I heard someone, her name is Lisa Bevere, and she said that idolatry is using anything in place of God. So God should be our comfort, God should be our peace, God should be our stability, our joy, our inner peace, right? And so, but if I'm using food for that or another person for that, then that food and that person are not equipped to carry that weight, right? A person is not equipped to make me happy, even if they want. And some people be really want to, but they can't. Like it's too much. And so,
Mhm.
and she certainly cannot. Right. And that's why you end up you are in a place sometimes where you're eating and eating and eating and eating because you're waiting for it to do the job and it can't. And
Right.
so I think that's what I thought of when I was thinking about, okay, what do we mean by relationship? How it relates, your relationship with human relates to your relationship with food.
Right. Wow. Look at, are you sure you haven't done this kind of work? Like,
Well,
because you are
this is what I talk about with my clients when I do my health and wellness work. I talk about a lot of this. And then I'm a social work professor, but I'm not clinical though. And so a lot of my work was like nonprofit management and stuff like that. So I've dabbled in the in the clinical stuff, but when I'm in the presence of the doctors, and I'm just like, yes, whatever you say, you're correct. And so, but yeah, I think that's what I thought of. And when I thought of it, I was like, oh, she's onto something because I had never thought of that. Never thought of it.
wow. Okay, I got you.
Mhm.
There's an image that I like to show. It's on my poster board and it's also on my business cards, but it's basically it's a black woman and she's like holding the face of what looks initially like a black man, but he's
Mhm.
actually a big piece of chocolate. Like his beard is made out of chocolate sprinkles. He's got chocolate like dripping from his lip, and she's like holding and embracing him like, you know what I mean? His eyebrows and his lips is made like a little piece of a Reese's cup. So, when people look at it, they're like, I like to look at their reactions and everything, but yeah, it's what you said definitely was a mouthful for sure. And the interesting thing that you said that it's probably one of my toughest challenges when I'm working with someone is getting them to really slow down and taste the food. So when you said you went off of sugar for 90 days and then you had a Kit Kat and you were like, this don't even taste good anymore. That was exactly my experience. Um, I can't really tell you, I didn't do a whole 90-day, I'm not doing this anymore. It was just back and forth between sad diet and then trying to be vegan or plant-based or whatever, back and forth for years. I would go 4 months straight and then it would pull me back. And then I'd go 2 years straight being plant-based and it'll pull me back. And so I just remember like automatically reaching almost every time I went to the store for a Snickers and a Hershey's, probably 3 bars. And I remember reaching one time and I was like, I don't even want this. Like, what am I doing? Like, I really don't have a taste for any of this stuff at all. But I
Mhm.
do remember, like, a time later when I actually did eat something. I think it was like a little Debbie cake or something like that. And I was like, this tastes like lard, like nothing but Crisco grease on the stove. Like, this is disgusting. I was like, how did I grow up eating this stuff? And
Right.
so, again, you guys that are listening, I hope never pointing fingers at anybody at all. It's just our experience. That's it. And we love this feeling because we want other people to experience it too. But you got to give yourself time to do that and pay attention. Because when you said you were actually taking the time to taste it, it made me think about taking the time to actually pay attention to the things that we don't really love or enjoy or appreciate in our relationship with a human too. Because sometimes we can just gloss over stuff and just
Mhm.
like,
Listen, now you
okay,
preaching.
right?
It's true.
We try to be fair because obviously no one's perfect and we have our flaws too. But it's kind of like sometimes you just gotta be like, no, this is not
You
okay. This
can
is
do it. No, I can do better. Yeah,
right.
I deserve better. This is not even giving me everything that I need, but it's giving me a little bit of something, right? It is better than nothing. So it's like, oh, so we think. And so then it's like, yeah, let me just keep on reaching for it. That's a good one. Don't think of that either.
It, oh my god. Oh,
That's a word right there. Yeah, because I think we all do that. Even with jobs and staying in, places that relationships with friends, even. It's like, this is not even, and I hate the term serving me, right? Because everything is not supposed to serve you all the time. Sometimes you should be serving, and it's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when it's constant drainage and disrespect of boundaries, and you're always the one giving, 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 giving. You should be giving, but you should not always be giving and never receiving. And
Right.
so, yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I didn't think of
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Well, you know what? Never mind. You was about to get me in trouble. I was about to say a little bit too much. But
that. I didn't do it. I didn't say a word. Oh, somebody said 50
well,
wear. I see that. Yeah, you don't look 50, girl, at all.
thank you so much. Is it Sente or Sin T? Sente
Mhm.
79? I appreciate you. But yeah, it's the fruits and berries, fruits and veggies, of course. Um, they make you glow. A matter of fact, while I'm saying this, we're gonna do a 40-day liquid fast with Alkaline Vegan Mommy, who is a well-known leader in the alkaline community, and she's leading that fast because I've done a few, but I've never gone past 25 days, I think. So this 40 is going to be like a huge test.
Mhm.
And definitely, her and I both have been talking for weeks before we started putting this on. And we were like, we need the community to do this with us because just because we're in this line of work, that doesn't mean like it's easy and no problem for us. So if you've
Yeah.
never done a group fast, you've never been successful, definitely join us. It's only $10 and you'll get her full recipe book with it. So it's all kind of recipes with it. So juices, smoothies, herbal teas. I feel like I'm missing one more thing. Juices, smoothies, herbal teas, and maybe some soups. That's what it is. But
Mhm.
all liquid, all liquid. So
Goodness.
obviously, Aisha, you are welcome to join us. It will be no cost for you, but it's
Oh, okay.
happening inside my our private community on Skool, Skool.
Girl,
But
I
yeah,
have to get my mind right for like a year for that. I've done a 40-day liquid thing before, once. And I don't know if the Lord is calling me to do that again, but because you really got to be like, otherwise you dip in and out and you ain't really do it. And so, but yes, I love it. You really gonna be glowing. You're gonna be looking about 12 after you. You're done with the adolescent with the psychology degree.
oh man, I'll take it. I will take it because it's
Right.
there are some things that I need to hear from a man above, obviously. And you just gain so much clarity when you remove a lot of the junk,
So
literally.
true. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So it's like you have the whole reactive thing. You have nothing but really yourself. And I've done 21 days with just water and coconut water. Um,
Mm,
and that right there was definitely a challenge for sure. And I was doing it by myself. But the
mm,
first two times that I fasted was with a group. And the very first time, probably both times, day 22, I was eating fried cauliflower. Like, I was just like, I can't wait to just eat again. And people in the group were like, "You gonna hurt yourself?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I didn't. I felt fine, but I
mhm.
felt a little bit guilty, but I
Yeah.
didn't feel that physical pain that people were telling me. They were like, "You're gonna go from this to eating the fried foods. It's gonna hurt," and it didn't hurt me. Um,
Mhm.
but hopefully you guys don't listen to me and don't do that because that's just not. It just really wasted those 21 days. Like
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say a complete waste, but it just obviously you don't want to do that. You want to break your
Mhm.
fast with doing a mono fruit, just one fruit, and just really just kind of slowly bringing your body because I actually did start bloating and burping and all this other kind of stuff that we think is
Mhm.
normal and it's okay, but it's not okay. Our bodies are
Yeah.
talking to us all the time. We just gotta learn the language and respect what it's telling us.
So
Um,
true. And I think too, now that I think about it, I think I got to like 37 or 38 days and ended up eating like some vegetable soup or something. But you did say that about what you just said about you think things are normal. And when you mentioned like your knees hurting or something I talk to my clients about is like, you'll be thinking, oh, I'm just getting older. or and you're like you're excusing things that you don't have to experience, but because everyone else is experiencing them, then you think it's normal, when it's really like, no, those are things that could be completely avoided if you
Um,
were eating differently. And so yeah, I wanted to make sure I said that, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm supposed to have headaches, or I'm supposed to you know take a long time to get up, or I'm supposed to whatever, because I'm getting older. And it's like, well, unless you're 107, like, some things you don't have to experience. And so yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I mean, me and another lady, she's turning 50 a month before me. And, so we're both, everybody around us is talking about perimenopause and hot flashes and all this kind of stuff. And we were like, we're not going through that. And I think
Mhm.
it's because, obviously, because our lifestyle. And
Yep.
so they do a great job telling us that this is supposed to happen at this particular age. And they can be more accurate with it because they already can project by research. It's like, okay, if we keep between the ages of 45 and 50, that's why. And it just gets ingrained in us. It's like, oh, again, it's supposed to happen. Oh, I always get headaches, so it's fine. And it's like, oh, you do not have to suffer. You do not have to suffer. So
Yeah.
how do you work with your clients? Is it one on one, in groups, or what do you do?
Yeah, I do groups. I've done one-on-one, but I actually prefer groups. I feel like the accountability and support is really helpful. And I think my teaching background just makes it more comfortable for me to just kind of be addressing a group. But I've done both, but primarily groups.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Is it a set fee that you charge, or do you want to talk about that, or should they just contact you, or what should they
They
do?
can contact me. It depends on what kind of group it is. I've run different kinds of groups. Sometimes it's like a goal setting, just kind of support in whatever goals a person has, whether they're surrounding health or professional goals. Sometimes it's a weight loss group. Sometimes it's a faith based, like let's draw closer to God group. Like, so those are kind of the three things that I kind of focus on. So it really just kind of depends on what kind of it is.
Wow. Okay. So they definitely go hand in hand. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
for some reason, most people think when they're ready to lose weight, the first thing they go to is the gym. And it's like, at our grown little age, that just, I'm not saying don't go to the gym, but that's just not going to help you reach to where you want to go.
Hmm.
You have to start here. And then, of course, with the food, it accounts for 80% of how you look and feel. And then going, the exercising is the, 20%,
Yep.
whatnot. So, yeah. So, what could a person expect to by working with you? Like, what what are some of the first few things that you kind of do without giving away your sauce, of course? But what are some of the first few things that you work with them on?
Yeah, so first, I typically do, especially when I'm working with a one-on-one client, I typically do a consultation just to kind of see like where they are, what their goals are, that sort of thing, which is free, what they've dealt with before, just to see if my program is going to help them. I'm a Christian, is definitely faith-based. I don't do anything that doesn't kind of include that, just because it's so much of who I am, and I need to be authentic to be helpful. And so, and then with the groups, it's typically like, this is the group you want to be in, a girl, come on. And then we just kind of get started. And so, it usually is about 6 or 12 weeks that we work together, depending on, again, what the group is. And we are meeting together. There's typically prayer, there's typically some kind of like scripture we're using. And then we're sort of intertwining those three pieces. There's a scripture in First Thessalonians that says that we are body, soul, and spirit. And so that's what every human is made of. And so I just don't believe that you can really make a major change within yourself unless you address all three of those. And so we really start building that foundation with people of like what that means, what that looks like, explaining why maybe things have not worked before, and how you can help them to work now.
Wow, I love that. I love that. I definitely agree, and it took me some personal healing to actually understand that myself.
Hmm.
So, what's one of the most difficult cases, I guess you could say, where a person was just like, did anybody kind of reject that or didn't understand it, and then it took some time to get it, or was pretty much everybody that you get are they open to it and they're just like, okay, we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that concept, I'm pretty intentional about explaining that in the consultation. Not all of it, but like just the general gist, because that's the whole program kind of like we are really building off of that idea the whole time. And so if you don't really just you're not feeling it, it's not resonating with you, then you're not gonna want to be in the program, right? And so as far as that goes, we kind of address that in the consultation. What I have had though is one client in particular who really she had worked with me several times in groups and then she wanted to do one-on-one. And then when we started doing one-on-one, we had this one session, I mean, and she was in tears and we were really getting to the root of some things and dealing with some things from her past and all of that that were contributing to her issues with overeating. Because one of the things she was doing was she had been heartbroken, like devastated, and so she had gained weight to like as an emotional eater, and then she kept the weight on intentionally by her own admission because she felt like it was her ability. It helped her hide from men, right? So I will not be hurt again. So when we started, we got into issues with her dad and all of that. So we got into all of that, and I'm like, wow, I left the session like, yes, that was a breakthrough, and now we're just gonna be better. And she never came back. Now, if I say I have a group, she will pay for it. She will say she's coming. This has happened 3 or 4 times where she's paid for a group, but she doesn't come. She will, oh, hey, coach, love you. You're so great. God bless you. But she will not. And I think it's because I can't put words in her mouth. I think it's because she's just really not ready
Yeah,
to be different, right?
absolutely.
And there's no judgment, right? Because I had years where I could have asked God at any time, Lord, help me, show me, what do I do?
Mhm.
And I really
Mhm.
intentionally didn't. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really want to change. And many
Mhm.
of us don't really want to be different just yet because we know that there's a cost, right?
Right.
And the cost is lower than where we currently are, but we don't always see that yet. Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's no joke. I love her to pieces, but honey, when I tell you she didn't come back one time, like, she just was like, yeah, I'm good. And so we respect, her shoes. And so, yeah, it is definitely something. So if someone is listening and they're like, I've tried to lose weight and it keeps coming back, sometimes you really do have to ask God, like, what is my hindrance, like what's holding me back, what is preventing me from really wanting to make this change and help me to get to the point that I need to get to, rather than it's almost like motivation is not a thing, like because you can be motivated for a very temporary amount of time, right? And so like sometimes you just stop waiting to be motivated, ask God to help you to change the way that you see things, and then just take a couple steps, right? Simple, stupid steps, right? Like so tiny that if it's just I drank a glass of water instead of having a coffee, but then I had the coffee anyway, but you had the water and you normally don't, good enough. You know what I mean? Until we get to the next week and the next week and the next week. So yeah, that was a really long answer, but yes.
No, that was, listen, I'm ready to sign up with you myself, and I'm like, I think I'm pretty good. I'm like, hold on.
You know what's so funny? I was looking at your school and I was like, do I need to sign up?
Stop it. Stop
So
it.
I get it. Yes. Same.
That's dope, man. So she actually reminds me of some people that I worked with before, and it's the one-on-one feels pressure for most people because it's just them, and so they feel like you're analyzing them and they're the only focus. And
Right.
so it is interesting that um, people do kind of self-sabotage themselves in a way that they say they want change, but they're doing things subconsciously on purpose, keeping the weight on so people won't see them and or see them in a particular light. Or there's one guy that he keeps crying on Facebook and it's like nobody will help me and I'm feeling this way and I'm hurting. He has the big C. I don't, say certain things on social media, but he's got the big C and he's like, I'm in so much pain. I started screaming to my wife the other day that I'm just tired of this. I can't stand it. So I DM'd him and I was like, hey, I can help you. Gave him success stories, all this kind of stuff. He was like, okay, or thumbs up or something like that. And then went back to crying on Facebook. And I'm like, it's the sympathy and the attention that you're liking right now. Because I don't think you really want to be helped. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure I'm not the only person that's reached out to you because he's actually pretty well known in the city. So, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
some
Mm-hmm.
people like the attention. It's like, all right, if I get better, then everybody will go back to their days again, you know?
Right, right.
So, yeah, it's this up here.
I was trying to find it. It's in John, and there's a scripture where there's a guy, and he's been like paralyzed for like years and years and years, and he's been laying by the pool that they say if he gets in it at a certain time he'll be healed, but he can never get in the pool because he's paralyzed. Jesus comes to him and asks him, "Do you want to be made whole?" And then he says yes, and then he gives an excuse, but I can't because I can't, da 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 da. And then God said, Jesus says to him, okay, well, you're healed, get up. And then he gets up and goes. But, you would think, like, why would Jesus ask him, do you want to be made whole? Like, of course he wants to be made whole, but it's a
Yeah,
fair question.
right.
It's a fair question. And so sometimes I have to ask myself about, that question about decluttering my house, about a number of things. Like, you want to change it or not? You know what I mean? Like, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I love it. I love it, man. Okay, I just looked at the clock for the second time. It was just 9:05. Well, I'm an hour ahead of you right now because I'm in Eastern time, and it just went by another 25 minutes. So listen, all right. We could definitely do this again anytime that you want to. But give the people how they can reach you. If they want to reach you right now and work with you and ask you some questions or set up a consultation with you, tell them how they can reach you.
Yeah, so I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube as Aisha Keller. So it is, I don't know if I can put it anywhere, but it's just, can I do it anywhere? I don't know how you put, it's just my name. So I don't know how to hide or put in the chat, but you can find me on all those platforms and you can just shoot me a message, DM me, and I will reach back out. I'm also on TikTok, all Aisha Keller.
AYESHAKELLER, right?
Yes, yes,
All right.
I can.
I think I can go back and edit the description, but when I do some
Okay,
clips of this, then I'll make sure that, I'll put you on your name
okay.
in there. So cool.
Thank
But
you.
thank you so much. And thank you guys. Awesome interview, as they say. A lot of hearts were going up. So I've enjoyed myself. And like I said, this is why I like to not talk about it beforehand because, I want to be
Yeah.
surprised just like everybody else. So this was
Yes, I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for inviting me. So
no.
awesome. So much good information.
Yes, for sure. And let me know again when you want to do this again. All right.
Of course. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye,
Thank
all.
you. See you.